Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Picture this. A man sits peacefully in his general store on November 13, 1886, absorbed in reading by lamplight. Suddenly, two figures burst through the door, guns blazing. Within seconds, Charles P. Stanton lies dead, blood pooling beneath the table where he conducted business built on murder and gold. This wasn't random frontier violence. This was justice, delayed but inevitable. Stanton's rise to power in one of Arizona's most notorious gold mining towns was paved with bodies of men, women, and children who stood between him and fortune. In 1863, while Civil War raged back east, a different battle was fought in the shadow of Rich Hill, 8 miles east of Congress Junction in Yavapai County. Rich Hill wasn't just another prospector's dream. It was geological reality. The mountain's placer deposits yielded gold to anyone willing to work creek beds and dig into slopes. A determined community took root around scattered tents, rough cabins, and the constant sound of picks striking rock. Two competing stage stations served miners and merchants. Yaki Wilson operated the first, providing food, shelter, and fresh horses. Half a mile away, an Englishman named Partridge ran a competing establishment, creating healthy rivalry. For nearly a decade, this arrangement worked. Miners extracted gold from Rich Hill, stations provided services, and everyone prospered. Then in 1869, Charles P. Stanton arrived from Nevada. Stanton didn't look like a killer when he arrived near Wickenburg. History would later brand him shrewd, conniving, and avaricious, but to his employers at the Vulture mill, he appeared exactly what they needed: an experienced assayer with technical knowledge to evaluate gold ore. The Vulture mine was one of Arizona's most significant gold operations. Working there gave Stanton invaluable education in mining's technical and business sides. He learned to distinguish rich ore from worthless rock and identify opportunities others might overlook. During his time there, Stanton somehow acquired half interest in a prospect called the Leviathan, located near Rich Hill deposits. The details remain murky, a pattern defining Stanton's dealings. What mattered was legitimate claim to gold-bearing land in Arizona's most promising district. When the Vulture mill shut down, Stanton made his move. He traveled to Antelope Creek near his Leviathan claim, built a cabin, then added a general store. But Stanton had bigger plans. From his cabin, he could see steady traffic flowing between mining claims and the two established stage stations. Every dollar spent at Wilson's or Partridge's establishments could have been spent at his place, if only he could eliminate the competition. What happened next reveals a calculating mind willing to orchestrate murder for profit. Stanton understood that Wilson and Partridge, as business competitors, already harbored natural suspicions. All he had to do was nurture those suspicions into something deadly. Stanton's plan was simple. Work the two men into a feud over competing businesses, let rivalry escalate to violence, then step in to claim the aftermath. If both men destroyed each other, road traffic would naturally flow to his establishment. Stanton proved a masterful manipulator, whispering rumors and planting seeds of doubt. The results speak for themselves. Partridge eventually became so enraged that he killed Wilson in cold blood. The murder sent shockwaves through the mining community. Wilson had been respected, and his violent death marked a turning point. Partridge was quickly arrested, tried, and found guilty. As he was led away to Yuma Territorial Prison, he claimed Wilson's ghost haunted his cell every night. But the scheme didn't unfold as planned. Wilson had a silent partner named Timmerman who immediately kept the station running. Worse, Partridge's creditors quickly sold his establishment to another competitor, Barney Martin. Instead of eliminating competition, Stanton had simply changed the players. Faced with his scheme's failure, Stanton adapted with chilling efficiency. He befriended Francisco Vega, whose reputation preceded him throughout Arizona territory. Vega wasn't just another rough character. He was a cold-blooded murderer who led what contemporary accounts described as a gang of homicidal desperados. In Vega, Stanton found the perfect business partner, a man willing to commit any crime for the right price, backed by killers who could make problems disappear permanently. Rather than relying on manipulation, Stanton now had professional killers who could eliminate obstacles with ruthless efficiency. Stanton wasted no time. Timmerman became the first target. The details aren't recorded, but given what came later, Vega's gang likely handled the job with characteristic brutality. With Timmerman eliminated, only Barney Martin stood between Stanton and total control. Barney Martin was more than a stage station operator. He was a family man with wife and children and a successful rancher. In July 1886, Martin sold his ranch for a substantial sum, planning to expand his stage station while treating his family to a long-promised trip east. On July 21, 1886, the Martin family loaded their wagon for the two-day journey to Phoenix, where Mrs. Martin and the children would board a train east while Barney returned to expand his station. Neighbors remembered how excited the children were, chattering about adventures ahead. They never reached Phoenix. Weeks later, searchers made a gruesome discovery just miles from what was now called Stanton, charred remains of the Martin wagon, surrounded by burned bodies. Mrs. Martin, the children, and Barney had all been murdered and set ablaze. The community was horrified but not surprised. Everyone knew rumors linked certain names to the murders, though there wasn't enough proof for trial. The message was clear. Charles Stanton now controlled the transportation routes, and anyone who challenged his monopoly did so at their own peril. With competition eliminated through systematic murder, Stanton found himself exactly where he dreamed. Road traffic that once supported Wilson, Partridge, and Martin now flowed exclusively through his establishment. Miners had no choice but to stop at Stanton's store for supplies, meals, and shelter. The community once known as Antelope Station was now called Stanton. By March 1875, when the post office was established, the name change was official. Throughout the 1870s and 1880s, Stanton's business empire continued growing. Gold mining around Rich Hill remained profitable, drawing steady streams of prospectors. By the 1890s, the community had evolved far beyond Stanton's original establishment. Nearly 200 miners called the area home. A 5-stamp mill, a significant industrial investment, processed gold ore from various claims, while a boarding house housed workers and multiple stores competed for miners' business. The irony was unmistakable. A community built on systematic murder had evolved into legitimate and prosperous mining operation. The blood Stanton had spilled had watered the ground for a thriving economy supporting hundreds of families. But Stanton's empire was built on a foundation destined to crumble. The same violence and criminal alliances that brought him power ultimately sealed his doom. On November 13, 1886, Stanton sat peacefully in his store, absorbed in reading. The quiet desert evening was shattered when 2 Mexican men burst through the door, guns drawn. Stanton barely had time to look up before the gunmen opened fire, ending the life of one of Arizona Territory's most notorious criminals. The assassin was Cristo Lucero, a former member of Francisco Vega's gang, the same criminal organization Stanton had used to eliminate competitors. But this wasn't business. This was personal. Stanton had insulted Lucero's sister, and in the code of honor governing even hardened criminals, such an insult demanded blood payment. The irony wasn't lost on the community. The man who used hired killers to build his empire had been killed by one of those same killers, not over business or gold, but over personal honor. Stanton's death marked the end of an era, but not the end of the community he'd built through murder and manipulation. Gold mining operations around Rich Hill continued to prosper, and the town bearing his name remained vital to Arizona's mining economy well into the 20th century. The post office operated until 1905, a 30-year span testifying to economic stability. In a strange twist of frontier justice, the community kept Stanton's name even after his violent death. Perhaps it was simple inertia, or perhaps dark humor, acknowledging the blood-soaked origins of their prosperous community. Some buildings still stand today. Visitors can see physical remnants, weathered structures that housed miners, foundations of the stamp mill that processed tons of gold ore, and scattered ruins of a frontier town that thrived for nearly half a century. If you would like to see a lost gold story by where I grew up, click on the link in the description. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman, Alan, for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.